And we are going to slip into lesson 3. And we're talking about the properties in algebra. And when we're talking about properties, we're talking about the laws or the rules that make algebra work. And so they're just agreed upon rules that people many years ago decided on. And one of them is called the commutative property. And I know you've heard about it, but you always get confused with it. And I really want you to look at that. Commutative has the little word commute in. So like you can go from your home to school, and that's the same distance as from the school to your home. So you're just actually playing with the numbers. So if I have a plus b, and we're using algebra, so we use variables, it's the same thing as b plus a. So let's substitute that in. So if a is 3 plus b 4, it is the same thing as 4 plus 3. And so we get 7 on both sides. So it is commutative. Also, if we say a times b, that's the same thing as b times a. And let's do that again. So it would be 3 times 4 is the same thing as 4 times 3. So it is commutative in both adding and multiplying. Is it commutative for subtraction and division? So you're going to look at that and say, well, okay, does 3 minus 4 equals 4 minus 3? Well, no, that's negative 1 equals 1. So therefore, it is not for subtraction. What about division? 3 divided by 4, is that the same thing as 4 divided by 3? No. So the only two operations that work for commutative property are addition and multiplication. And so that is when you are actually flipping numbers. But the other one is the associative property. And this here you have 3 numbers, and you're kind of associating it with, so you're kind of grouping, like you associate with your friends. So if we have A plus B plus C, and we have this in parentheses here. So order of operation tells us we must do what's inside the parentheses first. Well, does it indeed equal, A plus B plus C if we flip the parentheses? So let's look at that. So if we have A equals 3 plus 4 plus 5, does that indeed equal 3 plus 4 plus 5? Well, sure enough, it does. So it does work for the operation of addition. And so far, it also works for the operation of multiplication. A times B times C, parentheses, equals AB times C. And you can prove that out. And so the associative property is flipping the parentheses. And it works for addition and multiplication. It does not work for subtraction and division. So you can play around with this. You'll go through the lessons and learn that the two properties, one flips numbers, which would be the commutative, and one is the associative property, flips parentheses. So, and they're only good for multiplication and division operations. Thank you.